What's up, guys? Jonathan here. Welcome to Sober State Episode 1. We're going to be talking about the one morning routine that will help keep you sober long term. And this is going to be the first piece of the Sober State podcast, the first episode. I already do YouTube videos, but I'm going to take this onto audio. And the Sober State, this video, along with the next 9, is going to hit some big topics for what puts you in a sober state. And so a big thing you'll learn here, something that I talk about quite often, is sobriety is about being in the right state today. There's all kinds of stuff if you're just getting into sobriety where you feel like you're behind or you screwed stuff up and you want those things to change. Like your wife wants to divorce you, your kids don't want to see you, you having issues financially, you're struggling, whatever. Those things may take time. And sometimes those things won't get rectified, which is just the reality of life. But you can choose to live today as if those things could be corrected. So even though you're facing a divorce or a bad relationship with the marriage, you could still act like an awesome husband today. You can put yourself into that state. Or it can be, financially, you can make certain decisions today. Even though it's going to take time to make progress financially, you can choose today that you're going to be in the right state. And that's a big thing here. So it's why it's called the sober states. It's something that's, central to my success, is I'm more focused on what today is like than I am the long-term goals. And so we're talking about the morning routine today, and this is important because the point of a morning routine is to put you in a certain state for the day, right? Now, the title, like, what's the one morning routine? Well, that's the one that's built for you. So I'm not going to get into like the specific one that everyone needs to do, like, because there's a lot of nuance to that, and I'm going to talk about that. But having a routine, it serves a few important purposes. So let's jump right in. When we talk about a routine, we're just talking about something that you do consistently, repeatedly in a certain sequence, right? Now, when we talk about being in the right state, physics or chemistry is a great place to think about this. You've got water, then you've got ice and steam, and those are different states of the same thing. And the only difference is the energy applied. So, like, to go from ice to water and then water to steam, a certain amount of energy has to be applied, and it changes the state, the way that the actual water, the H2O, shows up physically, right? So it can show up in a vapor, it can show up in a liquid, it can show up in a solid, but that has to do with the energy applied, right? So we're all here, we're here for however many hours a day, 24 hours a day. You're asleep for some of those, you're up, moving around, you are interacting in the world. The question is, like, what state are you in? And when it comes to a morning routine, what we're choosing to do is do certain things in a certain sequence to put us in a certain state. So when we talk about, the state of water, ice, water, steam, environment has a lot to do with that, right? It's whatever's applying the temperature and all that. So when it comes to your state, how you interact on a daily basis, that has to do with like what you're doing and the amount of energy that those things give you. And this is very interesting because, if you think about it, if you do any type of physical training, you're using energy, but it can give you more energy. It's an interesting concept. And that's because humans are much more than just like an engine. Like, it's not just about fuel and going. Like, there's multiple layers to this. Like, you're a spirit, you have a mind, you have your physical body, and they're all kind of interconnected. They're all interacting with each other. And so when we talk about a morning routine, we're talking about accessing or doing the things that give you the best chance to be in the best state. So, number one, the number one important reason for doing a morning routine is the first exercise of self-commitment and self-discipline that you can engage in on a daily basis. So it's a point where you can say, okay, I'm going to do this. And if you do it, that follow through gives you reinforcement of being the self-disciplined person, being the type of person who makes commitments and keeps them. That creates a lot of momentum in and of itself. Before I opened my first gym, I built a gym in my mom and dad's shop, and it is extremely, extremely cluttered and messy. I have pictures of it I'll have to show someday, but it took a couple months to clean it out to where I could put a gym in the back of it. And it's a 30 by 40 metal building, so there's a lot of stuff in there. So I would wake up, get dressed, get coffee in the same Dunkin' Donuts green mug, which I still have to this day. It's just not with me here in Colorado. And I would go down and I would start working in the building. Now, the key here is I never did the same exact work every time in the building. So there's some days I would just haul something off, to the dump before I had to go do something else. Or some days I'd work for 4 or 5 hours, organize some stuff, put some stuff on eBay, or take some stuff, sell some stuff, do some scrap metal, just as I was going through everything that was in the building. But the point is, the routine that led me to it every day was the same, and it perpetuated me getting out there and starting the work of doing, cleaning out the building so that I could put a gym in it. That routine is what carried it. Now, it did it did it in a way. I did it in a way where I now engaged in the activity, but just because I got the coffee in the cup and walked down there, I was in the mindset of like, okay, I'm here to work. That reinforces the self commitment, because actually it was funny is a lot of people like doubted. They're like, are you sure you can clean that up? Do you really want to do that? It was that messy. Like, that's how bad the building was. I mean, it's literally full. There's a little line to walk in and that was it. But it was the engagement of that routine that gave me that level of commitment. Okay. And then the number two big reason for doing a routine is to actively engage in energy producing behaviors to set the state for the day. So this is like, like I was saying earlier, if you work out, you're expending energy, but it can energize how you live in your day. So there are certain things that if you do them, they propel you through your day. And there are certain things that you do, normally living reactively and just letting things happen, that feel like you're behind on energy in a day, right? So we want to make sure that when we're doing our routine, we identify those things. And this is where, sobriety, when it comes down to it, there are principles of success, but there's also like understanding you and your proclivities. So, for example, I am not the workout first thing in the morning guy. In fact, it zaps my mental energy. What I like to do is I like to wake up, get my cup of coffee, and do creative work, whether it's write, script this stuff, and go through these ideas and think about those ideas and get those things out and make them more concrete. That's what I like to do first thing in the day is wake up, get the coffee. Notice the similarity to when I was working in the building, and I'd get to work, right? And so that I learned not just from the cleaning out of the building, the physical cleaning, but like whether it's mental work or something, like I like to produce something first. And that creates a lot of momentum for me. And then I just confirm my calendar of like what I have going on the day. So I understand what I have. And then if I need to just accept that, hey, I've got 5 sales calls and some follow up, like that's going to be most of my day, that's okay. I woke up, I did the creative work, I got that thing moving forward, and I feel energized to go through my day, and I understand what I'm going to be doing. Or maybe I have a couple holes in my calendar and I want to insert certain things or work on certain things, or maybe today's the day I play pickleball and I'm looking forward to that. But just understanding like, hey, that's how I cascade my day into momentum. And everybody's going to be a little bit different. For some people it is working out, it's waking up and going to work out, and then that feeling just cascades into the energy of your day. So when we talk about what morning routine is going to keep you sober, well, it's the one that's going to be designed for you based on your proclivities, what energizes you, and what sets you up for success. The best way I can describe this is, what are the things that if you do them first thing in the morning make you excited and energized for the next thing? So like if I wake up and I get my coffee and I do some creative stuff, like I wake up, like I'm excited to see my kids, I'm excited to see my wife, like I'm excited to go to work, like I feel the energy moving forward, like the momentum is moving forward. But if I work out in the morning, I feel lethargic, I want to sit around, I don't want to participate in the next things, like I'm not as enthusiastic about it. Like that's a really good sign. And so you got to play with it, man. Like you're not going to know this stuff without trying a few things, but ultimately having the routine, what it does is it sets you up to feel like you're committed to yourself, like you are self-disciplined, but it's also going to help you build out a routine that are the activities that help you energize yourself long term. So that's how you do it, guys. So again, that's Sober State 1, man. We're going to rock with this. It's going to be once a week, never longer than 10 minutes, because I'm a believer in you got to take action, right? So if I have an hour with you, that's great, but I'd rather 10 minutes and you go spend 50 minutes on execution. So go put yourself in that state, guys. Appreciate you, man. I'll see you next time.